As well as gentlemen, Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. And before we get into this Hearthstone Arena run, I just wanted to thank all the folks who have been watching my videos and offering your supportive and constructive feedback and corrections in the comments. I can't express how much I appreciate the time that you have spent watching my stuff and commenting on it. And part of the reason that I'm getting a little bit sentimental is that my girlfriend just broke up with me, so this is gonna turn into a kind of therapy for me pretty shortly here, playing these Hearthstone games. So again, I really appreciate all of your support. You may not know it, but you've made a sad and lonely man just a little bit happier in these December times. All right, in this arena run, I forget who I played more recently, Rogue or Warrior. And in fact, you know what? Screw it. Let me just go check. I'm inclined to play Rogue just because I probably have fewer Rogue videos on the channel. Let's see, we got 12 Rogue videos and 13 Warrior videos. So, okay, since even though Rogue was more recent than Warrior, we're going to go ahead and do Rogue just to tie those two up. Alright, so here we go. Valera will console me during these sad times, and I think she's going to begin consoling me with an injured Blade Master, because a 4-3 for 3 is great, and these, well, the Secret Keeper is unplayable trash, and then the Ancient Mage is a bit situational, and certainly not nearly as good as the Blade Master. Oh man, well, we have 3 eminently playable cards all in one pack, and I'm just going to grab the Backstab because it's my favorite card in the whole game. Love to have these for the turn 1 shenanigans. Love to have this as an answer to big creatures that is not an Assassinate, and therefore costs 3 mana less, but Backstab is just too good not to take. Wow, garbage pick here, unfortunately. I mean, not garbage, but kind of bad. Like, whichever card you take here, you know there's like tons of cards in its place that you would have rather had. So here we get to answer the ultimate question of what's better, a 3-2 or a 2-3. So actually, this is a very, although this may seem like a very, you know, commonplace pick, just picking a vanilla creature, it's actually a very interesting strategic question. What is better? Obviously, if your opponent plays a 3-3 on turn 3, you'd rather have a 3-2, because it can trade with it. But if your opponent plays something that deals 2 damage on turn 1, you'd rather have a 2-3 because it can hit it and survive. I'm going to go ahead and grab the 3-2 because the worst case here is that you trade with your opponent's 1-drop, whereas the worst case with these is that you just lose it to a superior 3-drop. So I think I'd rather go for something that has a less good, less good best case? No, a less bad worst case than a more good best case. Yeah, that clearly made sense. That is one of my premier and best educational moments. Let's just go ahead and grab that card and move on. Okay, so I've taken spell damage before as a rogue and been fine with it. I guess I'd rather have the Ogre Magi than the Dalaran Mage, because first of all, we already have a 3-drop, and second of all, we don't have any 4-drops, and second of all, this thing's quite passive. I mean, for 1 extra mana, you're getting 3 extra stat points. I can't, you know, say no to that kind of a deal. You could take the Lord of the Arena here, and I wouldn't blame you, and, you know, I don't have any taunt at the moment. I just don't like this very much. I will play this. I don't have, like, a strict no-draft policy against those, but I think the Ogre Magi is going to have to get the pick here. Oh my god, what is with the good cards all coming up in the same pack? So again, Defias Ringleader cannot be taken here, I don't think. Shattered Sun Cleric, I hate to pass on this, it's so good, but I gotta take Eviscerate. Eviscerate is very important. The ability to deal 4 damage for 2 mana, you know, it can finish off your opponent, it can kill big creatures, you gotta take that. Okay, so Sap is definitely a good card here, but I'm gonna take the opportunity to grab the Spiteful Smith. Worgen Infiltrator, by the way, is a card that would be nice to have as well. Even when I'm not playing aggro, I like to have some 1-drops, but the Spiteful Smith I think is great for rogues. The ability is just insanely good if you can actually pull it off. And the 4-6 stats are great against mages because it survives Flame Strike, and in general, it's hard to kill. Priests can't kill it with their Shadow Words, and 6 health is a lot to chew through, so I think it's an important card to have if you're a rogue. This is removal, but I've been taking removal pretty aggressively with the Eviscerate and the Backstab, so I don't need this sort of borderline removal. I'm going to take the Boulder Fist Ogre and have a premier 6-drop in my deck. Okay, the Tiger I like a lot, but you know what? I've had some drafts lately that just went top-heavy, so we'll take the Scarlet Crusader. She's less than impressive under a lot of circumstances, like against mages, but in some cases, you drop this and your opponent all of a sudden realizes that everything in their hand sucks. So I'm going to take her. It's got some upside, and I'm keeping my curve low. Sprint! All right, I don't like this card officially. I've played with it once or twice, and boy, did it unimpress me. So this is mediocre. We'll take another 6-drop here for some more endgame content. Okay, the only playable card here is the Mana Wraith. Let's just take it and not worry too much about anything else. Voodoo Doctor is pretty good for rogues because you're going to be losing health with your hero ability. Shiv also is very nice. Boy, Shiv is really great. So we got card draw here. This is actually an interesting comparison because it's a 1-2 draw card or deal a damage draw card. I guess the Shiv in the abstract I'd probably rather have because I haven't gotten any buff yet. I've had to pass on a Shattered Sun Cleric for the Eviscerate, so without buffs, this is a bit unimpressive. And I think they're both better than the healing, although it'd be nice to have some healing in the deck, so I guess I talked myself into taking a Shiv. Now, Assassinate is a card I'm not that fond of because it's so expensive. It's like your whole turn to kill one creature. Isn't super great, but these cards are pretty crappy, so we'll take the Assassinate. Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, I don't want to take another 2-drop at the moment. I feel like my deck is more in need of 3s and 4s, but I don't want to take this other crap. So is there anything that really combos with this? Not actually at all in the slightest. That's kind of sad, but these cards are just so bad. I'm going to take the Panda. Oh, God. Well, I'm getting a 2-drop. Oh, man. So the Owl, we've had some very spirited discussions about this. I'm going to take the Tidehunter. I think it's a very nice 2-drop. I'd rather have it over the Owl. And I'm tempted by the South Sea Deckhand just to have a 1-drop. As a 1-drop, though, it's just vanilla. Later in the game, though, when you get the dagger out, it's got some use. I guess we don't have that much removal, just these 3, and then the Assassinate. So yeah, we'll take the South Sea Deckhand here over the Wolf Rider. Oh, shoot, this is bad. Well, there's no taunt in the deck yet, so I guess here I'll take the Lord of the Arena over the probably in the abstract better Stormwind Champion. I don't like how many 6-drops I'm collecting here. More 2-drops! Oh, God. Well, I'll take the Betrayal over yet more 2-drops. I really need 3s and 4s. Come on, deck. Okay, I don't want any more Assassinates, so I guess I gotta take the Panther here. It's not my favorite 3-drop, but for curve reasons, I gotta do it. Deadly Poison is very good as like a Fiery War Axe, but the Dark Iron Dwarf is pretty much exactly what I need in my life. It's a 4-drop. It's a buff. Would I really take it over this Premier removal spell? This is really putting my skills to the test, I think. Because the mana curve commands the Dark Iron Dwarf and the needs of the decks, lacking both 4-drops and lacking buffs. But the Deadly Poison is just better in the abstract because it lets you kill stuff. So what do I got? Betrayal, Eviscerate, Shiv, a single backstab. This guy sort of counts. And then Assassinate. I mean, I have a decent amount of removal. My gut tells me to go with the Dwarf, so although I might regret it, I'm going to take the Dwarf here. Pine-Size Summoner. I don't want more 2-drops. We're going to take the Ancient Mage here for more curve reasons. Okay, this is good. I would definitely take this. I've really learned to improve my opinion of the Swarm creatures, but we need 3-drops as well, and the Raging Worgen fits that bill, so we'll grab it. What is going on with these 2-drops? It's the, oh, you know what it is? It's because I just broke up with my girlfriend, so the game is like, hey, why don't we give you the number 2 a lot, huh? To remind you of the pair that you once were. Anyway, Kobold Geomancer is a reasonable choice here because it drastically improves Shiv and Backstab. Really makes a big difference with those to be able to deal an extra point. And even Eviscerate sometimes to bring down Chillwind Yetis and Sen'jin Shieldmasters. But let's go ahead and take a Voodoo Doctor. Doubles our number of 1-drops. And then the healing later in the game could be quite relevant as well. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. So the Kidnapper is a card that pretty much everyone hates. You know what it is? I saw a really good suggestion on Reddit for this card. It should be combo, return an enemy minion to your hand. Like, that would be sweet. If you could take an enemy minion and put it into your hand, that would be awesome. And then that would actually justify a 5-3 for 6 mana with an ability that's A, not very good, and B, needs to be comboed. But this is pretty much unplayable because it can buff your opponent's Murlocs. Although, you know what? I guess I do have this Murloc Tidehunter. This thing, it's just never impressed me. I've never liked it a lot at all. So I'm going to take this guy because it does have 2-card synergies, and I have been saying that you should not dismiss the value of 2-card synergies. And it's a 3-3 for 3, so that's actually kind of what I need, and it's better than these 2 Junko epics, so we'll take it. Okay, so I could take a Defias Ringleader that's really starting to be, well, I mean, I got 4 2-drops here. The rest is removal, so I could take one of these. Feel less inclined to take Sap because I do have Assassinate. We'll take the Farseer for some life gain. That could be very important. Alright, well, here Eviscerate over the Flesh-Eating Ghoul is very tempting. Yeah, I'll take the Eviscerate for some more removal. I might need it. Frostwolf Warlord is pretty much just what I need. We need a little bit more 4s and 5s and that sort of a thing. 4-drops, could use some of those. The card draw is nice. This guy's tempting as well, but let's keep the curve a little bit lower. And, well, I could take the Cold Blood and use it as a kind of a burn spell, sort of like a Power Overwhelming for Warlock, like how Power Overwhelming is for Warlocks, or I can take the big Beefcake. I think I have enough of this beefy stuff. Seems good enough. Five cards that are beefy. I guess it's a bit light on endgame. This would help a little bit. But we'll go for the burn. We'll be a little bit more aggressive, so not true aggro, perhaps, but still decent. More removal? Sure. And this has never impressed me, so we'll take the controversial Twilight Drake. Alright, let's go ahead and see what this rogue deck can do for me. To be honest, I don't think it's like the greatest rogue deck that ever was, but it does have like the medley of rogue removal. What we never saw here that I would have liked to have seen is a Fan of Knives, but we got everything. We got the backstab, we got even 2 Eviscerates and Assassinate. We have a Shiv. We pass on a Deadly Poison, so every time that Dark Iron Dwarf comes up, I'm going to be wondering what my life would have been like if it had been a Deadly Poison. But we have a decent mass of 3s and 4s, so potentially in the early mid-game to the end game, we could overrun the opponent and win the game in that way. So we'll see what happens. Zorn, the Druid. It's a good name. It sounds like Thorn. Well, this is pretty perfect. I have a curve here. 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to mulligan any of that stuff. Twilight Drake obviously would be better going second. It's always better to go second if you're a rogue. But in the case of the Twilight Drake, it means you have, you know, potentially 2 extra cards in your hand. And now we have our choice, actually, so it's possible that on turn 4 I'll actually want to play the Gnomish Inventor. Because what that'll do is draw a card, meaning that on the following turn when I play the Twilight Drake, it's actually going to be bigger by 1. Because basically I will have drawn an extra card for my card at the start of the turn, but then this Gnomish Inventor will have been an extra card on top of that, because on the previous turn I essentially will not have lost one. Alright, let's see what my opponent has here for me. Harvest Golem. Well, that is a very good answer. And it kind of disrupts my plans a lot because now... Oh my god, if this had been Deadly Poison, that'd be pretty good. I don't really want to play the Worgen too much. I could be aggressive. Yeah, I'm going to play the Worgen. We'll see what happens. The other option was to trade my Panda in and use the Dagger. Spend my turn daggering up to kill the damaged golem. One advantage of that is, of course, it would have cleared my opponent's board. It would have stopped him from buffing this and doing nasty things to me. Oh, no, that's exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. So now when I kill this, oh, man, that's exactly what I didn't want. Shit. Well, fuck. Alright, we're going to do this, I think. This really sucks. A lot of dongs. It sucks a lot of dongs. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. I was hoping he didn't have a Shattered Sun Cleric. I could have cleared this out and not played a Worgen. Instead, my Worgen died for nothing, and this thing is still set to come back. So now my opponent's being cheeky with me. He's ignoring my creature to hit me directly. This game has definitely turned around for the worse. And, okay, this is really bad. Eviscerate. I can't combo it out. I really wish this had been Deadly Poison. Shit. Well, shoot, I can't combo this out. If I could, I would totally kill the Ogre Magi. So I could play the Twilight Drake and then run my Gnomish Inventor into the Harvest Golem. The problem then is that my opponent can either hero ability and kill off my Gnomish Inventor then, or just kill it straight with the Ogre Magi. So it's a bit, shall we say, of a slow play. But, on the other hand, what I could do is I could play the Dark Iron Dwarf, buff this, have a trade with the Ogre Magi, have my 4/4 against this regenerating 3/1. He'd have to use the 3/1 and hero ability to kill my Dark Iron Dwarf, and then I could dagger up next turn, play the Drake or the Twilight Drake, and kill off the damaged Golem. Alright, it's all a little bit far-fetched, but I think this is what we're gonna do. Actually, I could do something else, can't I? I could also use this to kill that thing, and have this 4/4/1 standing against a 4/4. But then you know what? Oh my god, I finally remembered. Then Swipe would kill them both. If I run into the Golem, Swipe on the Dwarf kills both my creatures, so no thanks for that. We'll do that. I'm so proud of myself. I finally remembered that Druids have Swipe. That's the card that I always forget about. And finally, I remembered to play around it. Okay, so it's definitely a tense game. I mean, this Harvest Golem and the Shattered Sun Cleric pretty much ruined my life. It's not over yet, though. Our lives are totals are the same. Oh my god! Most epic decision making in a, well, not ever, but in a long time. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. Oh god, so proud of myself because I remembered to play around Swipe and it actually mattered. Alright, we're gonna play the Twilight Drake here. This thing's honking huge. It survives against Starfire, which is really important. So my opponent can't just spend his whole turn killing it with profit. He'd have to also trade in the damaged golem, which I don't mind too much because I'm at 20 health. That's where, as a rogue, you kind of start to worry a bit about hitting things with your dagger. Silence. Oh, fuck you! Ah, man, I hate all these moments when, like, it keeps becoming clearer and clearer that, like, I'm underrating silence. But that was really epic owl right there. Are you fucking kidding? Ah... That's just, well, you know what that is, folks. That is the fuck icing on the shit cake. This is terrible. I can dagger up, but that's 2 of my mana, leaving me with 5. I'm taking too much damage if I hit the creature. I get down to 16, then he hits me with his shit, down to 11, and then I'm pretty much in burn range at that point. God damn it. But I can't play anything else. My stuff's too expensive. I got, like, all my endgame cards here in one big block. Fuck. This game went so bad, so fast. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Gonna eviscerate that. Gonna play the Voodoo Doctor. Gonna dagger up. Gonna kill this owl. This game was one of those games where it's just like you're getting nickeled and dimed to death. But it all started with me not killing that Harvest Golem. I took a little risk there, and my opponent got a foothold, and he just climbed it all the way to victory. So now I'm definitely very, very far behind. And unless my opponent basically gives me a free turn and plays nothing, which is hard to imagine, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, because my stuff's also expensive. Well, he gave me a free turn and played nothing. I don't know what that means. I cannot play 2... Oh, I can. I can play 2 creatures. That's definitely what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this off. 14 health. It's a little bit worrisome. I don't know what he's holding on to. He could be holding on to a bunch of buffs, but if he had, he would have definitely buffed the golem to stop me from killing it with the dagger. He could be holding on to stuff like Soul of the Forest or Silence, and then not playing it because he doesn't have any good targets. It's possible. But 5 cards, all of which were unplayable with 5 mana. Well, he could have like a couple of buffs, a Soul of the Forest, and then like like 2 Ironbark Protectors or something, and maybe like a removal spell or something along those lines where he had nothing to do. So let's go ahead and see. We'll find out now what removal he's holding. There's a lot of removal here that would be kind of underwhelming, because Starfire doesn't quite kill this. He'd have to use his hero ability as well, leaving me with the 4/3. Starfall, even less impressive, does not draw him a card. He's gonna actually just 2-for-1 himself here, which is awesome. He just spent 2 spells, the Starfall and the Claw, killing my 1 creature, and a Wrath. Okay, so he cleared me out, but he didn't develop any board presence. I'm actually, believe it or not, still in this game, which is kind of crazy. So I could play the creature that hits harder, or I could play the creature that has more health. Well, I'm going to play the Wind Fury Harpy, and the reason why is... I'm just going to go ahead and start shooting him and whacking him in the face, because I clearly can't really hit creatures that much anymore. The reason I'm playing the Wind Fury Harpy is because I'm holding an Assassinate. So that means if he plays 1 big creature down, I can assassinate it and keep on swinging. Had there been a higher chance of him playing something big and me not having an answer and needing to trade with the Ogre, I would have played the Ogre. Well, now that sucks that he did have a Starfire after all, because don't really want to use Assassinate on this Dinker Nugget. In fact, I won't. I will just let it hit me. Going down to 11 health is not my favorite thing in the world, but he has used a Starfire and a Swipe, so I'm hoping he doesn't have another copy of each to burn me out with, or like other charge stuff. I have 1 Taunter here, the Lord of the Arena, that's about it. And this Assassinate. Well, this Assassinate might as well. And Assassinate definitely has an Ironbark Protector's name on it. What's interesting is that if he plays another Ironbark Protector, I could be super screwed. Let's see if he hits the Scarlet Crusader or if he goes for my face. This will tell me a lot. Okay, so if he went for my face, what that would tell me is that he's trying to burn me out. He thinks he has a good chance at it. The fact that he didn't suggests to me that actually he doesn't have that kind of burn potential, which is good news. I'll just trade, keep my Ogre around. That's probably not the decision I would make against any class, but against Druids, which kind of have a problem dealing with these Ogres, with big creatures in general, I feel like that was a safer play rather than damaging it and leaving my 3/1, which a Druid can kill for free. Well, taking 2 damage for it. No! He has another Ironbark Protector! Here's where I really wish I had drafted that Kidnapper. I could backstab this combo, put it in my hand, and I passed on a Sap. Oh god, that really could haunt me. So I can kill this currently unless he buffs it with a Mark of the... Oh fuck. Oh no, he made a Tiger. Whew. was really worried that he would actually buff this to be 9/9. That would have put me in a pickle. Okay, so I don't really have any options here. I would love to backstab this, but if I backstab this Panther, the Ironbark Protector can run into the Lord of the Arena, and I don't have any guarantee that I'll be able to deal the 2 damage I need to finish it off. So what I have to do is backstab this, kill it, which sucks, do that, swing for 1, and dagger up. Note that, of course, a druid who uses his hero ability every turn cannot be killed by a rogue with their hero ability, because even though he has to spend mana every turn and I only have to spend mana every other turn, he still heals just as fast as I deal damage, which is a problem. And he's got 3 cards to my 0, which is also a problem. Nourish? Oh, no. You know what would be really great here? A sprint. Sprint would have been really great. I mean, but I played an arena with Rogue where, like, I had sprint and it just never showed up in situations like this. It was always showing up in other times. So here's a case study of why I don't like Lord of the Arena. It's got 5 extremely inadequate health. So he 2-for-1s himself. It doesn't matter because his card advantage is so gigantic. I honestly don't think of any way that I could win this game at this point. I mean, I'm low on health. He's got these creatures, and I'm just top deck mode. Okay, well, I'll play it. I don't foresee much hope that I'm going to be able to draw my way out of this. He's just got 3 extra cards on me, so that'll do it. It's possible that he will do something really silly, like swing with both, and I'll draw... I don't even know. Oh, he's got the kill. All right, well played. That was a good game. I lost it by not killing the golem when I had a chance. So the Raging Worgen was my undoing. If I hadn't been holding it, if I hadn't had a playable card, I would, of course, have just killed off the golem, but I didn't. So he played Shatterstone Cleric, and it got to be very close. I got him down below 10 health, so it's very likely that had I made a different decision on that turn, I would have won the game. My Twilight Drake would have also had an extra health, and how did he kill it? He used Starfall plus hero ability. So yep, if it had been a 4/7, he wouldn't have been able to kill it. No, never mind. He used Starfall plus Claw. So yes, he could have killed my Twilight Drake regardless, even if it had had an extra health. But yep, that, man. And the Dark Iron Dwarf could have been a deadly poison. That might have given me more of an advantage, although it's a tough call there. I'm not exactly sure. So I made a really good play. I played around Swipe at one key moment, but unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough. Alright, here's a card I was hoping I would never see, but I actually have to keep it here, and the reason is it's a 3-drop. So if you have 2 cards that you're mulliganing and your third is a 3-drop, for exactly the reason that you see here, you have to keep your 3-drop. Had I mulliganed this and like drawn into Windfury Harpy or something, then I would have been really screwed because I wouldn't have anything to play for like the first 3 turns of the game. And maybe you can get away with that as a Paladin, maybe you can get away with that as a Warlock, but you definitely can't get away with that as a Rogue or most classes. Okay, well this is likely to be a nuisance. I can dagger up and start ploinking away at it, but it could go very bad very fast if my opponent has some kind of continuation. I was really hoping to see my Murloc Tidehunter so I could put them on the board. My opponent could kill one, but then I could still play Murloc Warleader and buff the other. Even the little Dinky Scout would become a 3/2. Okay, so my opponent has a very fast start, which is bad news bears, because I have a very slow one. And all the creatures I can play will just die to this Fairy Dragon. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Murloc Warleader, and the reason for that, quite simply, is it is my least valuable creature. Unless my Murloc Tidehunter shows up, this thing is just 3/3 for 3. This is a 4/3 for 3, and this is a 3/3 with an ability, so I might as well, you know, keep my superior creatures. It's probable that next turn I'll play the Ogre Magi, not because the spell damage matters, but because it'll be using up all my mana, and it technically has bigger stats than the other creatures. Okay, never mind, I might change my tune. Now this is a 4/3 right here. Tough call. Shiv. Is that something I can play? The problem with Shiv is that if I don't draw into a 2-drop, all I can do is dagger. It's not quite good enough. I can play this, it'll just die to the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. These will also die to the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Okay, I'm going to play the Raging Worgen, and the reason for this is that if the Raging Worgen survives the turn, which is a pretty big miracle against a rogue with 6 cards, I can actually Shiv it, turn on Windfury, and have it trade with both the Shield Bearer and the Flesh-Eating Ghoul in the event that my opponent chooses to ignore the Worgen and attack me directly with the ghoul, expecting to hide behind the shield bearer, have me kill it, and then, you know, have the flesh-eating ghoul grow to be a 5/3 and hit me again. That would be a 9 damage from this ghoul, and that would be a very big win for my opponent. So if my opponent had chosen to do that, all those things, I like the idea of keeping this Worgen around. Oh my god, I might actually survive. No, 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 please don't play Eviscerate. Please don't play Eviscerate. Oh, he played Eviscerate. On me? Whoa. Interesting. I think that's a mistake. I don't know. I mean, it could be a good move, like if you're being aggressive, and maybe I'm just biased by the fact that I'm holding on to Shiv, and I know that I've got this epic combo here, but I think my opponent kind of did what I did last game. He took a small risk, and it backfired horribly because he didn't kill my Worgen. I now get to do this, and I get to do this, and I even drew a really good card with Shiv. I get to do that. So yeah, that was pretty great. It's still not out of the woods just because rogues can easily answer this. All she needs to do is dagger up and Shiv or fan of knives and Shiv. But failing that, Sinister Strike. Oh man, this person's playing with some bad cards. Wisp! Oh my god. Well, I could still lose the game just because I am so low on health, but my opponent, unlike my druid opponent, is actually a bit low on cards here. So that could be good. Can I combo that out? Please tell me I can combo it out. Oh, thank god. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I cannot dagger to kill the Wisp and get this Eviscerate comboed, unfortunately. I am 1 mana short of being able to do that. That's fine, though. What I'm going to do is just do this. Now, the spell damage is, of course, irrelevant completely, but it spends most of my mana, and it puts a bigger body on the board, a 4/4 rather than a 4/3, so I didn't want to play this just to keep the spell damage in my hand, basically. Because it could very well be relevant that this guy costs 3, whereas this guy costs 4. Imagine, for example, 2 turns from now, turn 8, I could play the Frostwolf Warlord and this guy in the same turn. Had I kept this around, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, this is actually a bit of a serious problem because now, this ogre is a menace. And my Lord of the Arena is just so inadequate. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, I cannot complain about that at all. I cannot play 2 creatures, so I might as well play an expensive one. And since I don't need the taunt, I might as well... Well, I do kind of need the taunt. It'd be nice to be able to stop my opponent from attacking me with her dagger. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then I'm going to 2-for-1 myself. So actually, my decision to play this turned out to be extremely relevant because had I played the Blade Master, Backstab plus Blade Master is only 6. But because of spell damage, Backstab plus the Ogre, I am 2-for-1ing. But as you can see from the card situation, I've been able to get enough value from the Shiv and my Worgen and my Scarlet Crusader that I'm actually ahead on cards here with a taunt to stop her from dealing damage to me with her dagger. Now, once this guy dies to a likely Eviscerate plus Dagger or an Assassinate or something like that, I don't have like pretty much any more taunt in this deck. Yeah, this thing's about to die, unfortunately. Leper Gnome, I don't really mind that too much. Yeah, there's really no way I can save my creature at this point that I can think of. Dark Iron Dwarf is cute, but not relevant. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play this. I'm going to play this guy while he's good. And we'll just do the trade here. So, I think I should be alright. I mean, my opponent can get me down to 13, but she's in top deck mode, so unless she gets a sprint, I should be able to start whacking with her with my creatures and be totally fine. Okay, this is looking really good. So, if this is what happened in the game against the Druid, I might have been able to win, because I was holding on to good cards in my hand. Notice how against the Druid, he continued to have cards, and because of that, he was able to keep playing threats and kill me. Instead, we see here what the other side of that situation can be, which is that my opponent's out of cards. So now the fact that I can just kill both of her creatures trivially means that I will probably win the game. Okay, well, let's go ahead and just play out my stuff. So we'll do this, I think. And that. Not letting her keep any creatures around whatsoever, especially because that guy hit me. I'll put the buff on my hardiest creature and pass a turn. Now I could still lose. I don't have any more taunts, so she's dealing 1 damage to me a turn. And if she gets other stuff, she could potentially beat me. Alright, Fan of Knives will kill a creature and let her draw a card, which is pretty good value for her time. It does, of course, enrage my Spiteful Smith, so in that respect, it was worse than a Shiv would have been for her. Looks like she top-decked into... Oh, a Kidnapper. Look at that. Well, looks like somebody is not above playing with terrible cards. That's fine by me. Oh, 5-3 is such a depressing stat. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and just do that. And spend as much mana as I can. That means the Ogre, Perdition's Blade, and I deal damage to my opponent for the first time this game. Can she win? It's possible because I don't kill her next turn. I only deal 12, 14 damage, unless if she, I'll play even less or deal even less damage if she plays something that I need to deal with. But so it's possible that she has like enough turns to top deck some kind of really good answer. That unfortunately does not count as a really good answer, which is great news for me. The worst card that I can think of her getting would be like a Reckless Rocketeer that would let her deal 5 damage to me in one swoop. I cannot let this attack me. It gives her too many outs. I cannot play both of my creatures, so I'm just going to go ahead and play the one that deals the most damage. Remake my dagger, pass the turn. So I don't know what single card would let my opponent win here. Reckless Rocketeer would let her deal 6 damage to me, and now I am threatening lethal. So she'd have to somehow, like, clear out my board and deal lethal. Maybe, like, Vanish would put the creatures back into my hand, and I could replay 2 of them and be threatening lethal damage. So many options. My dear madam, I believe you only have one option. Unless you count, like, dagger hitting this, and dagger hitting that as all being different options. Frost Elemental, alright. Yeah, that makes no difference at all, unfortunately, for my opponent, because I've got these 2 giants who deal 12 damage. And so that's going to be the game against Death Soul the Rogue. Alright, I even had some charge here in case I needed it. Alright, that was a good game. So, normally if I lose my first 2 games, I'll do an all-in-one video, but since I managed to win the second one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pause it right here. So if you enjoyed this video, do please like the video and or subscribe to my channel. I would tremendously appreciate that support. And actually, I can beat both of my quests if I make it to 5 wins now, which is pretty cool. And if you want to find out how this arena ends, then stick around because the rest of the games are going to be coming up shortly. I'll see you then.